attention span is shot.
Books is the only way. If you can sit down and read a book on camera and film it for an hour, you can regain control of your wandering mind.
Mm.
I mean, I could tell you which book to read. It's Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. You can just listen to the audiobook, but if you get the book and you read it, it'll change your life.
Dao Beijing.
Yeah, I'll pin the video for you.
All right,
You could
I'm gonna take. I'm
just
gonna take.
listen to it. Just listen to it right now. Listen to it for the next, break it up. Listen to it for 20 minutes. Come back to it because there's a lot of concepts in there which could take a little bit of time to grasp. But this book is probably the most powerful book ever written. But basically, you also have to realize that everything everybody says is a complete and total waste of time. Whoops. Okay, here, I'm gonna pin it. Because this app will brainwash you. You'll get brainwashed into stupidity. So you have to. The whole app is based on entropy, and you have to reverse engineer it. This book above, click the link above, save that video, but watch it every day, and it'll change your life. Guaranteed.
Let me see.
Okay, I gotta go. Save that link. I'll talk to you soon.
Trying to stack odds against Elon because they're scared of him. Specifically with things like Poland, for instance, right? They have like a program where they want to make sure that many EVs are being bought. But however, the problem is they want to discourage people from buying Tesla EVs, Tesla electric vehicles, just to boycott it because they happen to not agree with Elon's political views, which is ironic. Really, it is. So, wow, that's happening. Europe is really on a very bad trajectory here. They gotta really change course, man. I really hope that the people, which, by the way, that's who they're talking to, that's why these officials are saying that's because they want to kind of either affirm or enforce upon the people an idea. So I would hope that many of which, are not going to be complete NPCs and actually have, thoughts of their own to make their own decision and understand, do I have this piece of shit car or do I have a good car? And does it matter whether or not this guy has a particular political opinion that, ironically enough, also so happens to cause tremendous, amounts of prosperity if ever enacted? I mean, look, America right now is going to go through a very good period of time. Now, of course, there will be economic difficulties, as is, we're standing before the precipice of many new technologies, all of which are going to disrupt whatever market we can define as an actual market in ways that we have yet to fully understand and comprehend in any way. So, to see this happen, I think there will be a golden age, of course, and you're going to see that within the next couple of years at least. But it's going to be a rocky road. And even though you live in one of the most volatile moments of human history, of course not the Dark Ages, right? You're lucky that we're not in the Dark Ages. Even though we're in the most rocky parts of human history, they're still going to perform very well. Because these types of policies and this type of political opinion scales and stays upscaled and becomes something very amazing. Which you cannot say for current day Europe, for instance, right? Europe today, for instance, suffers immensely from deindustrialization, descale of energy production and consumption. I wrote this post saying that, you can tell whether or not a country is, prosperous in some way or another, you can tell in which way the economy goes, either decreases or increases, by how much energy is demanded and consumed. So keep that in mind. It's like, hang on a minute, let me get the other phone because this one's running out of battery. Hey, it's been a while. Hey man, where have you been? You've been MIA for quite a while. Yeah, I've been on dates and stuff. Sorry. Life. I've been living life. Yeah. Yeah, me too in many ways. I've done many things. Been quite busy. Still have been able to do a few things on top of that I otherwise would not have been able to do. Like, how do I watch your fucking anime now? Like, I'm watching it anyways. What anime? Re:Zero. Never heard of it. What's it about? It's basically a guy that keeps dying. Like, whenever he dies, he just gets reset back to a point. So, like, it's basically like Edge of Tomorrow, if you watch that. Oh, yeah, I love Edge of Tomorrow, yeah. Yeah, okay. Exactly. It's like that, except that the respawn point advances forward in time sometimes, whenever a specific goal has been established, and then it basically deals with an alternate version of Earth, where there's, like, all kinds of weird species and shit, and there's magic. Of course. So it's called Re:Zero. Re:Zero. Yeah. Oh, Re:Zero, okay. Yeah. And it's like medieval, kind of. Okay. I mean, it sounds interesting. I like the premise, the Groundhog Day premise, right, where the day resets itself. Yeah. It's a bit of an acquired taste. The first couple episodes are kind of shit. They usually are, right? Like anime, like I mean, even the good stuff. The first couple episodes are never actually good, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, it has a character arc, and it's good.
I think sometimes it's necessary though, right? Mm-hmm. So some of my favorite shows, they sort of kind of shit. Like, have you ever watched JoJo?
No, I want to see it, but I know it's hard to get into. Like, people say it's like super hard to get into, but then once you're in, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So JoJo is like super shit in the beginning. It sucks complete ass. And like only when you have reached the end, you're like, wow, I'm glad I watched it. And I'm glad I watched the beginning. I'm glad I didn't skip it. Mm-hmm. Because
I've seen some animes like that.
Yeah, because when you do that, when you watch it, and you don't skip it, like, it adds to the story, right? The shit parts kind of had a reason, right, for being there.
Yeah. I can think of a book series that's like that I would highly recommend. So, you know, if you like Game of Thrones, you'd love this, right? Steven Eriksson's Malazan Book of the Dead, I think that's what it's called. I haven't read it in years, like a decade or two. But the first book is so thick, like it's so hard to get into, to the point where he rewrote the entire book because of how hard it was to get into. But once you get to like the halfway point of that really thick book, which by the way is like 2,000 pages, you're like, oh shit, I'm hooked now. And then by the time you're at book 5, you're like, I'm glad I read book 1 because it has so many details in it.
Yeah, so Adrian's kind of at that part now. Like, Adrian's kind of gotten past what you could maybe call the worst part. I wouldn't call it the worst part, but maybe you could call it the worst part. Because of the fact that it's kind of setting up the world.
Yeah, right. Yep. Some animes don't need that though, right? Like Death Note starts off with a bang. It's really good at the start, all the way to the finish. I mean, there's some slow parts in the middle, but that show did it really well.
My opinion may be like a slightly more controversial, but I don't think it's like really possible to have like a super good show without kind of boring, what you might call shit parts, shit episodes.
Yeah, it happens. I mean,
Because
Breaking Bad has shit
yeah,
episodes.
exactly. You need that to kind of flesh out the story, set up some groundwork, deepen the characters. Yeah, you don't want just action. It's like,
Right.
and then you watch the movie and you're like, that was cool, and then 2 weeks later you forgot about the movie.
Right, whereas you remember Breaking Bad.
Exactly.
You remember the shit parts too, which are like, his wife. She's annoying, right? She's really annoying. But